Good morning. Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Today is Thursday, November 21st, 2024. I just want to make sure I got the mic and everything on. Welcome to the Java Cafe this morning. I am excited this morning. We are, for those of you that don't know, that November is Native American Heritage Month. And I am honored this morning to have some folks, and you all know that Chappaquiddick Tribe of the Wampanoag Indian Nation. They have guests with it, and I see them in the background shaking their heads, so that means I got it right. Because you all know, I think it's important to say names that represent our culture, and also in a macro level that represent this tribe today. So I am so excited to bring some folks into the room that's going to talk with us about tradition, about culture, about the importance of honoring the land on which a lot of advocacy has been done, and a lot of things that have went on this land that was wrongfully taken from many of those that are native to it. And this may not be the opinion of my guests today, but all this stuff going on about migrant and deportation, ain't nobody got no right if you ain't native to this land to be trying to deport anybody. So, because everybody outside of folks that are here and those like them migrated here. So I'm going to get away from my commentary and bring my guest in the room. I am excited to have Kim Ayala with us, and also Stand Strong, also Ahmad, and I did it right earlier. Jesus. Y'all ain't right laughing at me because they know that I was in here earlier trying to do it right. And Cary as well. Good morning to all four of you. I thank you. While you understand, I think it's very important that this is something that we laugh and joke about, but it is something very serious to me about names, because they mean things, especially in the culture. And so I'm excited to have all of you here today. Kim is no stranger to the Java Cafe, nor I. I have known her for
a long time.
Yeah, we'll just leave it like that.
Yeah, we'll leave it.
We'll just leave it like that. But I'm excited to have all four of you here. And so I'm going to go in order of those that are appearing on my screen. If you can introduce yourself and school us if there is reference, if you say your given name of the one that you on your birth certificate, or is the given name the one you're assigned? I see reference to Golden, and I can't see the whole text here, Kim. But if all of you, when you introduce yourself, if you can give your name that you're known among listen, yes, both of them, please. And so welcome to the Java Cafe. I'm glad to have all four of you here. And also, after your introduction, or to end it, if you can describe your experience in tapping into your native culture, what it's done for you in one word. Come on, Kim, let's go.
Okay, so I'm Kim Ayala. My native name is Golden Sparrow. I got it about 23 years ago when we had our annual naming ceremony and gathering. And the funny thing is, I had on a yellow shirt like this, and when the tribal medicine person was going around, he was like, "Oh, what are you thinking about your name?" And I didn't have any thoughts about it, but I clicked my head to the side or something. It must have looked like a bird. And so he named me Golden Sparrow. So that was fun. And so, I like to use that. And I forgot the last part, because sometimes when I talk a lot, I forgot.
I already said this is going to be a fun convo while we learn a lot. But the last, the word I would like for you to use is how you described 23 years ago, presumably, when you tapped into your culture. What has that experience been like over the 23 years? What has it done for you? Tell us in one word.
It's enlightening.
And we'll come back to the context of that. And so, Brother Stands Strong, please introduce yourself, and as well tell us about your experience, and if you would like to reference to either you were born in or came in, out of discovery of your ancestry. Please introduce yourself and use one word as well.
Sure. Good morning. So my name's Bryan. My name was given to me as Stand Strong some time ago. I can't remember or count the years ago that it was. But uh, to sum it up, I would say resilience. You know, I've always known that I was indigenous. That's one part of me, and so I like to explore all sides of my culture. And so doing that is an opportunity for me to learn a lot more about myself, who my extended family is, and to know that we're not here alone. We're all connected, and that brings a lot of great joy to me to know that.
Absolutely. And what was your word again, just so I can remember?
Resilience.
Resilient. Okay, definitely. Kara, how are you this morning? Please introduce yourself and also give us your word as well.
Good morning. I'm well. My name is Kara Roselle. My native name is Willow. I received that name, I think I must have been like 6 or 7. And I'm really lanky, like I'm really long, tall. And I think it had to do with that, the elders looking at me, but also just kind of like inner wisdom. I think I've always been pretty reserved and pretty observant as a child. And that's something that reflects in my name as well. And I think the word I would use to describe tapping into my culture, reconnecting, would be transformative.
Transformative. And forgive me because I'm just getting the pen because Kim mentioned earlier that sometimes at our age we get to talk and forget stuff. So I'm going to hold on here.
I got my pen and my notebook. So.
All right. We have enlightening, resilient, and Cary, you don't tell me. Oh.
You got it. You got it. Starts T. You got a T?
Transformative.
Yeah, right.
Okay. All right. Brother Ahmad and Nonkaneu.
Nice. Okay, there you go. You got it. Thank you for having me, Jimmy. Thank you for everyone who is tuning in. My name is Ahmad Cary. My native name is Nonkaneu, which means the light, or he who is the light. I had another native name actually that I kind of grew up with, which is very similar. It was Nukon Mayash, and it meant he who leads, or he with the knowledge, essentially. And the light is kind of similar. So it was given to me by my grandmother, who was our tribal chief years ago, and then she's actually just been reelected to be our chief again. So I was kind of born into this tribal aspect of my life. I always grew up with the stories and my grandmother talking to me about all this. So my word is alignment, stepping into this work more directly as an adult.
I definitely appreciate all of your words. And what we have so far is enlightenment, resilience, transformative, and Jesus Christ. I remember the first thing because they were in
resilient.
Alignment.
No, alignment. See, that's what threw me off because of enlightenment. I'm gonna blame it on Kim. All right. And so here, Stand Strong, I would like to start with you. And if you could give us, we have 4 guests today, and so I have the responsibility of keeping us in time and whatnot. So I may put some parameters on just if you could give us about 2 or 3 minutes or so about your experience. You said resilient. I'll be very transparent with you. My life experience has caused me to look at resilience in a way that we become resilient by constantly going through stuff. We become more resilient. We get tougher skin. And while that's a good result, how we get there sometimes is interesting. And so that's just my unsolicited commentary. When you said the word, I was like, So you said resilient. Can you give us some context of the resilience in your experience of tapping into your culture and what it does for you as in however you want to frame it, Native American, Black man, Black Native American, or is it just one?
Sure. So I it is just one. If we start putting divisions up, then we have problems, right? And so, being a male, I look different than some other people, but I do recognize there's other males out there, and so I didn't understand why everyone looked different, but we all look the same. We had the same experiences. We had the same hardships. We had the same joys. We had the same desires and wants. And so when we started looking at the community, I saw the same thing as well, but didn't know if I was rich or poor until the rich man came around. And then I realized that there is economical differences, right? But for me, I had a great upbringing. I grew up in South Providence, Rhode Island, and had a diverse of people that were around me. So my differences and my experiences were my hair texture. I would go to the barber shop, and the barbers struggled. All barbers struggled to cut my hair. They said I had soft hair, I had different hair. I had this big nose. My complexion was lighter than everybody else's. So you have those racism inside a race. But at the end of the day, that's what made us unique. That's what made us different. So I picked up my own clippers and I started cutting hair. I found that it was a passion for me to be able to do that. And I found that was a way for me to help my community. It was a way for people to feel good about themselves, to have great conversations. And so in doing that, folks would say because of my complexion and those features that I must be Indian. And it's like, I have always known that I was indigenous. It was nothing foreign to me. In fact, many and all the people that came by my home were of all hues of color and all backgrounds. But as I gotten older, I had realized that a lot of these folks knew exactly who they are, who they were, and who they continue to be, and who their family members are. But the thing is that at a certain time, it wasn't okay to be Indian, right? So those struggles there um, gave me a lot of energy to be prideful about this side of the side of me, to bring that forward and to continue to keep exploring all sides of me, because there's a lot of contributing factors which make me and brought me here today. I stand on the shoulders of giants, and I have to do my due diligence and do my part to continue to keep making a better place and a better world for those coming behind me.
Stand strong. Thank you, because in real time, you helped me with just having a wider lens of that word resilience, just as something as simple as what made you resilient for your community and able to, brothers to adorn themselves and look good and get a line up and clean. That's a form of resilience, because we understand that our presentation is a part of how we perceive ourselves and whatnot. So thank you for even widening my perspective there. Cary, if I may ask you in the same context, the word that you used was transformative. It's almost a given because of the word that, how has being a part of the nation transformed your life? But if you don't mind, can you share with us that word transformative, and in the context of, and you've been around the culture since you were 6, so you have grew up. And Kim, we're going to come with you and talk about like sort of the transition. You referenced the 23 years. What was your word? And I'm kind of getting your word now, enlightening. And so, Cary, I'll shut up so y'all can talk more. Tell us about the transformation since your time being named at 6 years old. What has it been like for you?
I think it's been transformative in terms of coming into myself and coming into the importance of community. I think that living in the United States and living in this millennium as a whole, we're in a really hyper independent culture, and that's celebrated. And while there are so many things that we can do and go the distance on by ourselves, it's really important to have a built-in support system like tribal family, tribal community, just community in general. And I think that has been a key component that has transformed my life, really being able to tap into my Indigenous heritage. And like Bryan, I feel like I identify just as Afro-Indigenous, which is both of them, both African-American and Native American Indigenous. I think that something that's also worth noting is oftentimes I'll get asked about whether or not like I feel proud about my Black heritage, and I 100% feel proud to be Black and of that heritage. I think that there has to be this awareness that there has been violent erasure on both sides. And so sometimes asking people about that heritage, there is not that much known, and it's so much work to excavate that and to relearn that. And so that's still being done. But this heritage that I know that we know is so important to claim and reconnect to, and transform us in terms of the love of community.
Cary, I can't wait. I told Kim in the beginning, But we're all right. Who got something going on in the background there? No, I mess up.
Sorry, I'm in Harlem. I'm on Lennox Ave. That's me.
I was gonna say that you know,
He said, "Let it."
Kara came with a lot of fire on that one.
She really-
It was just that.
that was good, but 1 second of I won't say corny, but that was right on the cusp, but it landed on the good side. She came with the fire. She did. And you know, the interesting part is that there are so many similarities, and I love what you said. And Sandstrong, if you could just nod your head yes or no. When I asked you, do you identify as African American or Native American? Kara said something that stood out to me in reference to that question, and she said Afro Indigenous or African Indigenous, and that is you know, interesting. Some would say, well, African Indigenous, are you talking about, you know, from Africa? But I just think it's important, again, in the fire that Kara spit, you know, there is this independence, but there is an advantage that you have in being part of a tribe. It's a term that's used, my tribe and whatnot, but in the reality of real tribes, there is an advantage. You have your family, you have your community, but it's very different. And so I'll move on. Ahmad, I'm gonna try to.
No, you got it. You got it.
I know, but I know I got it, and then I'm over stressing it because I just want to be.
Don't worry, I don't take offense, so I'll correct you if you go.
I know, but you haven't had to yet. Nonkaneu. Okay,
there we go.
Brother, sir, thank you. All the way back from Harlem. Shout out to the folks in New York. You know, if you're sharing some of your neighbors watch, wonderful. But Ahmad, what has been your experience? And I'm going to ask you a little bit different. Why did your name change? I'm curious because I know that there's an identification and an observation of personality and character. So what, why did you answer the question like others and then end it with why did your name change?
Yeah, no problem. So just to talk about my word, and I chose alignment.
Yes.
Much like Kara, I was inducted into this world very, very young, largely because my grandmother was the tribal chief for quite a while. And I grew up with stories about my Native American heritage. My mother is an immigrant. She's from Jamaica and Bermuda. So I also grew up with stories about that side of my family. And I learned very quickly that any individual is multifaceted. And my family especially has many pieces of them that all come together to make each one of us. And I learned to take pride in that rather than to feel nervous about it or be ashamed or embarrassed, or even try to hide certain parts of myself in order to emphasize others. Much like Kara, you know, I'm proud to be an Afro-Indigenous person. So through these experiences and just getting down to like the skills that I've acquired in my life, learning computer science in school and being a musician, the son of a musician, and taking part in various different industries, it's allowed me to step into this work feeling aligned, where all of the experiences and all the things that I've learned inform every move that I make, especially in working with the tribe. I'm currently serving as the tribal treasurer for a nonprofit. So again, the skills that I have learned, the skills that I've acquired, and all the information that I've gathered from listening to my grandmother talk about the tribe, what it means, what our culture is, all the way through my schooling, and then just listening to my other family members talk about the rest of who we are. It all informs every single move that I make, and it allows me to feel more comfortable and confident in the moves that I make, knowing that I'm steeped in this culture and that I have a great respect for the culture and the people, the family, and the community that we've been able to cultivate and to preserve and conserve. I'll leave it there because there's a lot I could talk about. But in terms of why my name changed, it's a good question. I had the name for quite a while. I think I got my first name when I was like 11, maybe 10, possibly younger. And then over time, as I got older, my grandmother kind of realized like I've evolved in a lot of ways. And we spoke to another person who felt similarly and felt like I should be renamed. and that was the birth of Nonkaneu. But again, the names are very similar. Actually, it seems more like an evolution of the name rather than a complete.
What was your? If you said it,
diversion.
forgive me. What was your first name?
Nukon Mayash.
Okay, so not knowing the translation, but there is a prefix similarity in the first name with the. So it's still. Or what was the meaning of your first name? Was it still reference to light?
No, well, kind of. It was like he who leads, and he with the knowledge, carrier of ancient knowledge.
Carrier of ancient knowledge, and then from that you became more. And Nonkaneu means
the light, or he who brings the light.
So you don't went from knowledge, and now you open up the light and showing it.
Yeah.
I love it. That evolution is real. Kim, we come from a Christian background, and I saw I saw something there. Yeah. So Kim, with you, Stan Strong, Cary, and Ahmad made references to growing up in the culture. You made reference to a period of 23 years. And so a presumption would be that you found out through ancestry, family member. And so with that, there's a presumption that you didn't, quote unquote, grow up in the culture. And so you use the word enlightenment. Can you, with all that I just said, can you give us the context for your word? And also personally, if I'm right, what is it meant to you to be enlightened in the culture?
Well, my mom, Helena, was actually born on Martha's Vineyard. She was born in Oak Bluff. So I've always known about the culture. She tried to tell my sisters and I kind of everything she could about the culture and the land and, different traditions that we had. But back then when I was growing up, I didn't, kind of relate to it. And we would always have a vacation on the vineyard. My nanny had a house down there, and she's on the Chappaquiddick side. So we would stay there. So that's what I, related it to, that I went there every summer since I was born. And it was an amazing, good time. And I have fond memories of being down there every summer as I was growing up. And so I've always known that I was Native American. I always knew, that it was Wampanoag, Chappaquiddick, Wampanoag, all of that. But as I became older, and when I went to the powwow on the vineyard, because we have this annual gathering and naming ceremony. When I went there, I had my first daughter. She was a year old. And so I got to see firsthand what happens during a powwow and how everyone's relating to each other and talking to each other and sharing more. So I was an adult, when I got to be part of that. And so I started to look at it differently. Now wait, this is good. This is, we have land. This is more than a summer vacation. And so now that I'm involved with the tribe, I feel a responsibility. And so what I've done around here in Massachusetts is I've attended different events where I can gain more knowledge and information. There's a health summit I've gone to. There's powwows I've attended here. And I got to see, there was a show in Emerson, I think it was Emerson College, and it was like The Land Before Time, and it had Native Americans, and it showed just everything they went through in this play, and my heart just was like, oh my gosh, everything that we've suffered through, the things that we've triumphed over, that just made me just feel, enlightened. And then it gave me a sense of duty. Let me use my gifts and talents that I have to help further and progress the tribe. So I've known what I was, my whole life. I just now am embracing the fact, because I've been enlightened of everything that is needed, everything that is beautiful, all the people that, are surrounding us, the members of our tribe, our tribe, and then the tribes, the sister tribes, it's getting to know all of that. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, I just feel enlightened by our culture. It
is, I have to be honest that there's a little bit of friendly and not jealousy, but I don't know what the word is, because it is a African, I don't say African, well, I don't say Black American, I say Black in America now. As a Black man, in America without clearly definitive identified either Afro-Indigenous, even though I haven't been in the comments because I know my mother and them are in here. Ma, confirm or not if we know that we have Native American ancestry, but I can't clearly identify with the indigenous side. I can't clearly identify Afro-Latino. I can't clearly identify with Caribbean. So I'm Black in America. A lot of what just Black in America can identify with culture and traditions, without those other wonderful cultural experiences and history and foods and beliefs and music, to be Black in America without the ability to quickly grab on and identify to all of what I've just named that others had the wonderful opportunity to be a part of, it's interesting for us. And so that's when I say I'm sitting here and I'm listening to you all and the family, the what Karen, I'm going to come back to you in a minute, just that we have the independence, but there's a macro family piece here. And so anyway, you all are really this is good for us to be here because we need so much more unifying across, we talked about the term in the beginning, BIPOC, Black, Indigenous, people of color. And I ain't going to get too far off in politics, but Karen, may I ask you, we talked about Afro-Indigenous, and can you name in that Afro-Indigenous context, can you talk about some of the challenges and struggles that you share, you can tap into being an Afro-Indigenous woman? I saw your eyes. So, what are some of the struggles? And please feel free to also share the strength and the joys, because I want to balance between being real about that, but then also being intentional about ending on a good note.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, the struggle is life. The struggle is that I move through life as a Black woman. I look like a Black woman. I think that I've found so much love and community in Indigenous spaces, both within my tribe and outside of it, with other tribes on Turtle Island. But with that as well, I think that sometimes there is prejudice about the color of my skin. I feel like people might be like, it's 2024. I can't believe there's prejudice, but we know that that's alive and well. I think that, navigating Indigenous spaces sometimes as somebody who's also got African descent can just be difficult. But I think that something that I am eternally grateful for is just the resilience of the people that make up all of my heritage, the resilience of the Indigenous folks that really survived all of the violent detribalization and the chaos that settler colonialism brought, and the resilience that my ancestors who were enslaved in this country, and this country was built from the labor of the resilience that they have as well. And I think that that is just something that I try to, I don't think about it. I feel like I think about it often, but I try to just like tap into on a daily basis on some level. Just knowing that I come from such strong, resilient people is just enough to keep me going.
On both, I won't say sides, I'll say streams. In both streams, as an Indigenous woman and as a Black woman, there is that. So stand strong. Yeah. I guess my widening around resilience is whatever, brother. There's something happening. There's an evolution, Ahmad, happening in real time right here. Ahmad, I'm going to come to you now and ask you, based on the struggles you referenced to your grandmother being the chief, some would say sometimes maybe like religion, I got forced to go to church, and I don't know if culture is different, but how do you take what Kara is talking about, the resilience, the enlightenment, and I've heard terms from Native American brothers and sisters before, a term about the dominant culture. How you, sir, presumably working with the young people, you're handling the money, but I sense from you that there is a swag that you work with the youth in the different tribes of your tribe. And so how are you taking your culture, presumably, and ensuring that the next generation is aware? Because someone had referenced the preservation of, and there's a lot that is fighting the dominant culture and whatnot, that fights a lot of the preservation of a lot of the indigenous practices and culture here. How are you keeping the youth engaged?
Yeah, well, I want to start off by saying it is by no means a solo pursuit. Everything that this tribe, any individual in this tribe is doing, especially on the macro level for the whole tribe, it is a team effort. So I just wanted to start there. But I think one of the biggest things that we've been doing and that I've been a part of, we were lucky enough to get some money from the Episcopal City Mission of Massachusetts to really fight for land back. It's dedicated in that space. And being that that's one of the biggest difficulties as a detribalized tribe and a non-federally recognized tribe who's been removed from their land, it's been one of the biggest struggles, but it's also a great place for us to engage some of the younger members of our tribe and get them kind of activated. And really, it's an easy way to make clear what our struggle is and give them a tangible idea of something that we can fight for. So it doesn't just feel so illusory or abstract. And one of the ways that we've been doing this is we've been compiling a lot of information, because while I did grow up with a lot of these stories, there's still a lot of information that I don't have. Kara, her late mother, was an incredibly knowledgeable woman who had a lot of information. So she has a lot of information that others don't have. So compiling that and putting that in a format and a place where it's accessible to people in our tribe, especially our younger generation, so they can start to educate themselves and have a better idea and feel more confident talking in spaces like this, letting their voice be heard, but also representing the tribe in a way that is impactful, but a way they can also feel proud of. That's probably been one of the biggest things that we've done in the last couple years, and it's starting to bear fruit. We're starting to see more people get involved. More people are looking at the information and saying, "Wow, I really had no idea that this was the case. How do I get involved in on a deeper level? Where do you all need help?" And that's been a beautiful thing to see, to be honest.
I appreciate that. Again, I'm sitting here and I see the pride. I also see, Ahmad, that you immediately went to that, it's not just me. It is quote unquote the tribe that is doing all of the work. And though I asked you specifically about the next generation, young people, stand strong. I thank you for your patience, because going in this round and being balanced, you're going to wind up being last here. But Kim, if I may ask you, you talk about going to different events and bringing your administrative and organization skills very active and prominent within the tribe. How do you, one of the things about Native American culture is the relationship to the land. And that is something I think that we as just human beings have not been good stewards over this land. It is evident in the fact that we had 70 and 80, it was 70 something degrees on election day in November. Enjoy it. But right after the enjoyment, I'm like, ooh, that's a little bit scary. The environment, how are you using your skill set to support the tribe's relationship to the environment and to the land?
So I can only answer part of that question, because it is, all of us doing that, because we have a land back committee. But for me, I'm going to these events so that I could gain information and wisdom. And we have our chairwoman, Penny Gamble Williams, who, she's the one above me in the tribe, who has so much information to share, about the land and different stories and experiences that we've had and things that we've gone through. And then also our Sagamore, Ray Williams, he's the one who's also gone to different events and conferences and all of that stuff. So what I'm doing is getting the information so that I know how to proceed. So the Land Back Committee has done extensive research on the land and has given a presentation to our full tribe, our whole tribe. And, I want to help to preserve the land. So I'm using that as as a temperature, as a, you know, a gauge of what I should do and how I can help and how I can fit in and line everything up. So
I just wanted to say, Cary, to your point, that's one place where I think independence should thrive. Independently, if we can do our own first independent practices in recycling and honoring and not desecrating, and I don't know if that's a strong word, but desecrating the land. That's the individual piece. I think that the more independent we are there as individuals in doing that, the impact rises up to the macro. So I just had that thought. Brother, stand strong. And I seen the sun came in because that's a sign right there, sir, while you're about to address this. Again, you talked about, you know, not identifying as either one. Kara talked about Afro-Indigenous. Can you talk about the relationship in times like these, 2024? You know, Ahmad made reference to being defederalized. So let me just ask a clarifying question. Is the Wampanoag Nation not recognized by the feds?
So we're recognized by the state of Massachusetts as a historical tribe. Yes, so we're not federally recognized, correct.
And just if you can indulge me for about 30 seconds, why not?
This goes back to a long time ago, from Chappaquiddick, when folks were the land was parceled up and individual land was given to folks. So it you know, with the government, it's going to declassify it as a tribe at that point, because you're now assimilated into society because you have your own land, paying your own taxes. And then you move forward from there. There's your 30 seconds. Hey,
the fact that you laughed after that, know that you just slayed that. So we're whatever, brother, whatever.
Yeah, no, there's more to it. There's more to
absolutely,
it.
absolutely.
Yeah, there's more to it.
And I would like, you know, Kim, I often say Women's History Month is not just March. Black History Month is not just February. Right. I will be honest and transparent. It's so interesting to me that the feds or whoever made November Native American History Month, despite what we're about to do next week. And I don't know if that may have been maybe to honor less, you know, to the pure, all things are pure. But my point there is, if at any point we need to come back, we need to have, Kim knows what my after dark conversations are. Those are the ones that stand strong. You could stand strong if you need to cuss a little bit about not being federal. Sorry. Because I heard that there, and in Massachusetts, isn't that one of the first Kara, come, go ahead.
It's probably helpful to add, because I mean, I'm just thinking you're going towards saying it's Massachusetts, so that's obviously like a first stop place, right? Like where settler colonialism happened. I think that's also like that. Therein lies the issue and the reason why we're not federally recognized. If you look at Martha's Vineyard on a map, the easternmost shore of the island is Chappaquiddick Island, which is where we're from, which means that we are one of the tribes of first contact. So we were dealing with settlers first and really kind of set the precedent for trials and errors and how they interacted with Native folks. And so we really, we had assimilation, we were Christianized, we had our woodland lots taken away after a certain point, and then we were declassified, and other tribes learned from us, other tribes as they went west. And so that's also one of the reasons why we are recognized by the state and not by the federal government.
Hey, you remember the Pontiac, the vehicle?
Yes.
So Pontiac, so I'll give a little
Sorry,
story.
Kim. Kim knows me, and so she knows everything that was contained in that. Yes. Yeah.
So let me rip real quick. So Black Indian was a term. You could find that on applications when you applied for jobs. It was part of the census as well. It's no longer there anymore. So the Afro and was already part of applications for people to be able to identify. That's one thing. I'll go back to Pontiac. Pontiac was a chief. Pontiac went up and down the Mississippi to try to get other indigenous folks, to get them to band together to tell them, you see what happened to the Pequot, you see what happened to the Narragansett, you see what happened to the Wampanoag, and if we don't get ourselves together, the very same is going to happen to us as they stop pushing west. So to Kara's point, we were the the platform for them to have their trials and errors and so forth. So if we know the history of America, right, it's not the most pleasant one. It's not the easiest one to read. But
See, on After Dark, you be able to say that differently. Go ahead, sir.
yeah. So and you know, it is what it is. It's a story. It's a story.
It's a
But
nightmare.
it's a story. It's a story, and we can learn from those things, right? We can learn from those things, and so I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna leave it there because I think you said After Dark would be a whole different conversation.
We. I'm stuttering.
I'll look for the invite.
Yes.
James, I just wanted to tell you, you know, if you know anything about me, I like to get the information before I start.
Yep.
You know, sharing it or getting anything incorrectly. And so part of my gaining the information and the knowledge, I like to collectively pull it together. And then I like to know the people that we deal with. And so I don't want to say like I could be like a secret agent or something, but you know, I kind of go in and I find who or what I need to get, you know, to get to, and then I pursue that, you know. So
She does the due diligence, right?
I do the due diligence. I'm a secret agent.
No, you secret agent ain't the word. What's the I won't say you undercover. It's not the right word that I'm thinking of. Like it's spyish, but one of them like, Kim, let me find out. You low key like that.
Yeah.
I want to give an opportunity for us to, we're coming down to time, and I want to give an opportunity. I want to ask one question. All of you can jump in on here. Stand Strong, you made reference, and Cary, you talked the history about the assimilation and the intentionality around killing the culture and taking the land. In 2024, we are in very interesting times. I heard somebody. Oh, I heard somebody inhale, exhale, like they ready to jump right in. No, you good. You good. Can you compare and contrast to where we are now? And any advice around what we need to do as Afro-Indigenous to really, you know, the diaspora, BIPOC, that in itself is a good foundation. And I'm thinking about this in real time, y'all. You know, there's this clear identification that, you know, the Latino vote, you know, went towards someone, because I don't want to presume you all's political stances, that went towards someone that has some interesting philosophies toward people that look like us. And while there's a real sentiment as a Black in America, we also have to be strategic to not allow the dominant culture to separate us when we come together in our collective power. I just want to ask, and anyone can jump and chime in 2024, what advice would you give to the BIPOC, the diaspora? What would you give to ensure that all of our there's a general intention to take away from all the various cultures that our various intersections bring to this country and space? What advice would you give to ensure that doesn't happen?
Stop creating divisions.
And you started off with that, Stand Strong. Go a little bit deeper.
So, you know, does it make a difference what my hue is? Does it make a difference what, you know, where I come from? Does it make a difference what my nationality is? We got to be good people, good stewards of our resources, good stewards of the world in which we live in. We have to help each other out. There's people with strong needs. There's a lot of people who don't have anything. And for those who have and don't share, that creates another division, economical division. We create so many different divisions of who's who is blacker than who's more native than who. Just maybe I don't eat cornbread. Does that mean I'm not Black? You know, maybe because I don't.
Serious, but because I know what I got.
Right, right. So
yep.
You know, we create these divisions. You know, because I don't live on a reservation. Does that mean I'm not Native anymore? Well, because I didn't stay in the projects, does that mean I'm not black anymore? You know, it doesn't change who we are as one people, right? We got to come together and stop the fighting, because there's race inside racism, but that's a learned behavior. That's
Mhm.
a taught behavior. We have to love ourselves first and love our fellow humans as well, and then move forward from there. To how to do that, I don't have the recipe for it, but it's a starting point.
I want to add to that
Go ahead, Ahmad,
actually.
please. Yes.
So I would say to continue to ask questions, remain curious, but ask questions with the genuine intent of receiving information and be open to receiving that information. Because a lot of times people ask questions and they assume they know the answer. They just want to hear what they want to hear. But when you're asking questions and you're being inquisitive and actually trying to understand, you're going to find out a lot of things that might, like what happened to you earlier, it might widen your lens a little bit. You know, you may think you understand something, but then a piece of information comes along and it clarifies things for you and it kind of shifts your perspective. So especially when it comes to the divisions that have been created artificially and for very seemingly understandable reasons in some cases, I feel like asking questions can go a long way to breaking down a lot of those barriers, because it can give you the information you need to understand why we are where we are, how to break down some of those barriers and actually find common ground to unite, to do collective move or create collective movements that actually benefit the larger spectrum of people, the BIPOC diaspora, but also everyone in this world, because we are all of this world. We are all earthlings. So if we don't take care of this, we don't take care of each other. Ain't no one else going to do it.
Before I go to Kara and Kim to get ready to close out, and I love that our two queens are going to close out. I got to be authentic, and I get the humanity piece. In real time, I'm just sharing with you all. Since last Tuesday, and we grow up knowing that there's race and racism, to which you all have referred. I'm all for humanity. At the end of the day, our humanity has to kick in, but I don't know, Cary, you can pick up here, whatever, but I use the term people lighter than me. I'm in a very interesting place, not from the allies, not from the people that are true allies and whatnot, and I believe in humanity, but to stand strong, what you said and what Ahmad said, it's been a struggle to go pure humanity without factoring my demographic and how I feel about what was shown to us as a country, away from the politics. But there's some irrefutable indicators around this. Well, I ain't going to use the term land because it ain't theirs. Around systemic structures created in this land. Just some real thought commentary there, because I've been struggling a lot, y'all, since the election, about the reality of what some of the results said, how we are viewed by this people here. Sorry, Kara, and to all of you all, not to go off. Just to honor the woman, to stand strong, if you don't mind, we'll go to Kara, then you. Yes, sir. Go ahead, Kara.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've been struggling as well. I think those are really real thoughts, and I appreciate you for sharing them. I think, one second. There we go. Something that I think about with, the beliefs and the policies that this person that's been elected wants to enact is changing what is taught in schools in the education landscape. And I think what came to me as advice for folks to continue to persevere would be storytelling. Like, that's what I was going to say. And I think it's really important, no matter what your lane is, no matter what your artistry is, whether you are a writer, whether you are a musician, whether you are a podcaster, any, like, whatever your talents are, it's really important to tell stories in the ways that are authentic to you. It's the way that keeps our lineage alive, our experiences alive. One of my favorite memories with my mom, Alma Gordon, White Sky, who was the songster chief of our tribe, was sitting on the living room floor and looking at photos and asking questions about photos. I love scrapbooking. That's actually one of my favorite things to do. That's how I processed her death. That's how I got through that time. And I would look at photos and remember what she told me about different family members. I'd remember what she told me about the island. And so it's really important, however you're able to facilitate those conversations, to do that, especially given the fact that we're entering this new dawn and, you know, may on a national level not have different things that are fact and that are true about our country taught in schools. So making sure that those are done in smaller macro community levels.
Little by, big things get done. Little by, battles are won. So it's that grassroots.
Right.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Brother Stand Strong. I'm sorry. She was queued up next, and
No, that's fine. That's
Yes,
fine.
sir.
And I echo the same that we've all said on here. And one of the things is I learned from a member of ours that passed away, Seawolf, was never talk about your leader. At some point, somewhere, some
We grew up with that in church too, Kim.
right. You at some point you will be in a position like that, whether or not who is the leader. So people who are watching and following, you're the leader at that point, right? Whether you know it or not. Until that changes, the opinions change. And so some of the things that are presented to us and put in front of us are all signs and opportunities. We talk about, I know you alluded to your Christian beliefs, and if we believe that we're given blessings all the time, if we don't count them, then how are we getting closer to God, right? So when we look at this and we see that these are signs that we need to do something, and what is that? Yes, share the stories. We need a person who is a storyteller, right? But we also need organization and actionable items that need to be done. So who's going to take the actions? So when that takes place, right, it's on our level to make sure that we organize and do the things that we're supposed to. That's community, right? We talk about community. And so community is made up of people. And the people that are inside the community do the things that are needed for the community, right? We have this economical systems are created every day, right? We have a duty and a responsibility to take care of each other. I don't have enough. I need potatoes. I got onions. I can give you a couple of onions for the potatoes. Guess what? We're both eating tonight, right?
Yep.
Right. I need my electricity fixed. Somebody in the community that's a carpenter or was an electrician that could help out with that. Yes, I may not have all the money up front, but you know what? Can I have a layaway plan? Right? There are opportunities to help people, and we see it all the time. We see all the cultures that come into our country, and they bring their culture with them, right? And they stick together, and they make sure that community thrives, right? So when we talk about our heritage, for me, participating in it was the biggest thing that brought out a whole lot of me. Powwowing, right? My children, they participate in it. My daughter, she was part of an indigenous community in Syracuse. For her graduation, she wore her traditional clothing walking across the stage. She was gifted an eagle feather. But these were made by my relatives that were honored to hear that this is what she was doing. So knowing who the people are in your community, knowing how you can actually contribute to the community to make it better is one of the things that I see from these signs that are taking place in front of us that we have to do better. We know it, but are we actually doing it? Or are we just talking about it?
That's that term, knowing is half the battle.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And doing. And so
and knowledge is power.
And knowledge is power. Ignorance is bliss. And sometimes knowledge, awareness is stressful. AF. Kim, with that being said, Kim is the plug, and I want to thank you for arranging this and have you have the last word.
Thank you for having us.
I would really love to have you guys come back in sort of an after dark, and we look at very intentionally because there's a model that the tribes can show. As much as I say, here since the civil rights movement, quote unquote, Black folks set the model for advocacy and activism. Oh no, there's a model that goes back a couple of centuries.
Six Nations, Declaration of Independence, the Iroquois, right? It goes back. It goes back even further. right? So we've been in the fight for a while.
Yes, sir.
You know, sometimes those people, you know, history's not documented until something's conquered. So
I like him, Kim.
I
Kim,
wanted to go back for just 1 second
yes,
to we
please.
talked about the boxes. You know how we check off boxes and
Yep.
it was BIPOC and Black and Indigenous. I'm more than the box, right? And so I wish I could check the box and, you know, write down everything that I am. So I just narrowed it down. So I'm just Kim. You know, that's my tagline, just Kim.
Golden Sparrow.
Golden Sparrow. So I'm Black, Indigenous, Cape Verdean, Swedish, all in a ball. But I'm also human.
mm-hmm.
And I understand right and wrong. And I want the wrongs to be righted. And whatever I can do or we can do collectively as a tribe, what I can do individually or what we can do collectively. There are 14 of us on our tribal council, and we each come, you know, we each are in different areas. We each bring different expertise. And what we're working towards is coming together so that we can represent the tribe, so that we can move forward, and then we can get the recognition that's deserved, and we can get some land back, but we got to get it all together. So the box, I got a huge box.
Yep.
I don't have a little box. I don't like boxes. So I'm just going to be a write-in. Just write it in. But I want us to be, you know, in as much in agreement as we can be. And so with 14 of us who are different types of people, different personalities, come from different backgrounds and growing up, you know, we have to learn each other. We have to be able to relate to each other so that when the time comes that we go before whoever we're going to go before to state our case and get some stuff back, that we're speaking the same language. So I'm a human.
Yes, ma'am. And thank you, because even in real time and, you know, similar to what Stand Strong did with resilience, you've helped me. And Kara, I'm sure you all at some different level are struggling as well. But Kara, thank you for just affirming that a lot of us are having, you know, those similar thoughts. But at the end of the day, we're going to fall back on our humanity. It's just been a little more of a filter for me to let the humanity seep through all of the other stuff. My filter's just been a little tightened. The mesh holes are a little bit smaller, but I'm still going to exude humanity at the end of the day. But anyway, unsolicited commentary there, because you all have put me in a very, I'm tired. And that's an indication of a good interview. There's been some virtue and some things exchanged. It really has me in a very interesting space, not only in my head, but in my spirit. And so I thank all four of you for being with us today. We will follow up and figure out how to come back together in an after dark and have a real conversation. Stand Strong, you referenced to, you know, organizing. Cary, you mentioned just the importance of the telling of stories. Ahmad, you talked about the collective. All of you talked about the collective. Kim, you talked about the importance of doing what you do as an individual, but then also, you know, coming to the macro and to the tribe. And so all four of you, thank you for being here. It seems so cliche-ish to say Happy Native American, you know, Heritage Month, but I think you all know that the sincerity of my heart, no matter what this nation did and whatever, thank you all for being who you are. Thank you for your willingness as a people to share this land with us. It is so important. So thank all four of you for being here. I am going to, in the spirit of Native American Heritage Month, I had the opportunity to visit, and I told Kara I refuse to say the name. In Connecticut, I am trying to find the tribe's name in Connecticut, and y'all know which
What?
Yes, thank you, because I was not saying, you know, I wasn't saying the other name.
Yeah.
So I had to, it's where, you know, I had an opportunity to visit there this spring, and that nation did a tribal drumming welcome for Nia Grace, if you all may know from Grace by Nia. She is there. And so I'm going to let you, unless you want to stay on, and well, you can watch it after you get off, but I want to be sensitive to time too. I'm going to end with showing that It was that thing that day was beautiful. And so I'm going to share that as I let you all go. And again, thank you all for being here. And I look forward to chatting more. Kim, you know, if you all need anything that I can do for the tribe, whatever, you know, let me know.
Thanks for inviting us, James. We appreciate this opportunity.
It was a no-brainer. When Anissa and I was talking and we said it's native, I said, oh, can you hit Kim? So absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank
you very much.
Thank you. Folks, I'm going to get this video together and show that in just a second. But I hope that you learned something today. One, to appreciate your heritage. I'm sure that a lot of my audience in here today has maybe some adjacency to being Native American. Just a little presumption there. But I want to get this video queued up as we close out today in honoring and celebrating Native American Heritage Month. And I don't know why. I can't. Okay. The video is in here somewhere, y'all. This is one day I'm going to make y'all wait. I'm going to find it. It's here. And it was the young lady and the drummers. It was just a beautiful experience. All right, there's Nia. There's Ed. Now, where is the... This may be it. Hold on, y'all. That's not it. Hold on. We're going to play a commercial while I try to find this video, because I really want to honor our Native American brothers and sisters with this video. So we're going to take a commercial break real quick, and we'll be back with you in just a couple of seconds.
For the innovators, the dreamers, the risk takers, independent workers who keep our neighborhoods thriving, Connector Care from the Massachusetts Health Connector has plans for every lifestyle and budget.
Having access to affordable healthcare is for everyone in our community.
Connector Care plans help more people save on healthcare that covers all their needs. Find out if you qualify for Connector Care. Visit mahealthconnector.org or call 1-877-MA-ENROLL.
Oh, I still haven't found it yet. Hold on. It is coming. Do me a favor, in the comments, drop one word about today's show. In all seriousness, hopefully you learned something today. And I also got a text about James, I feel you on, you know, the little bit of jealousy you had and being able to identify with the culture. It definitely is something that is interesting for a lot of us that can't quickly call out and identify some lineage or adjacency. I'm using that word a lot today. Is this it? This is it. I'm so aggravated, y'all, because it was a beautiful tribute to the culture. So let me see if no, this ain't it. This ain't nothing but the devil. Hold on. I'm gonna try one more place. And if I can't find it there, then we'll have to do it at another time. I'm sorry, y'all. Let me check the comments a little bit. Informative, better understanding the culture, enlightening. Commercial break. Thank you, Miss T. Shout out to everybody that's in the room today, and also the folks that are over on Instagram. People need to know what grace is and its benefits. Brother, good to see you in the room. Garth Dante is on. Others that are over on Instagram. I am Jay the DJ. This, I don't understand. I'm aggravated right now. Was it cinematic? All right. I hate to use the word give up, but I don't know where it is. Oh, wait, hold on. No, that was the auditions. All right. I can't find it, so I can't show it to y'all today. Let me just search. One more thing. Let's see what happens. Okay. Videos. I'm not holding y'all. For y'all UCBers, y'all get 90 minutes today. I'm aggravated. Now, if I just go back into, I bet you as soon as I end the show, I'm going to find this darn video. You all have a wonderful weekend. Today is Thursday. Today's my Friday. So I'm not going to see y'all until Monday morning. I'm not sure right now who's coming on Monday morning. We are having our civic engagement week. Nick, y'all can tell I'm frustrated, right? We can have our civic engagement. We are going to have our civic engagement week, I believe, next week. I have an invitation out to someone to come on Monday that is an elected official. Tentatively have the governor's schedule on Tuesday. There's so much going on that I know at any moment she may get called in with the lawyers and you know, I'm glad that we have our governor and our mayor. And let me say something about this, because this white supremacist borders are tried to get on a news station and talk about that if Mayor Wu and them don't comply with what they're federally mandating with this mass deportation crap. Let me tell y'all something. Residents of Boston may have some valid issues with Mayor Wu about a whole bunch. Bike lanes, Blue Hill Ave, Mass and Cass, all that. And I'm not saying stuff because those of, especially Mass and Cass. Let me tell y'all something. And my grandmother would say, let me tell you one thing that ain't two. Let these white supremacists and whatnot and folks come in here trying to mess with the city of Boston. Boston will Boston. Have your issues. That's like the family thing. We can have our family issues, but you ain't coming in from the outside trying to do some stuff. I seen that crap on TV and seen a video of it. And y'all know that's the homie and whatnot. But she's a woman, and that white man on there talking about he going to arrest her. Listen, and I'm so glad we got a governor who's a lawyer, who was the attorney general during this man's first term, because she got some muscle memory to combat some of this stuff. And though they're trying to move through policy, which is very scary for a lot of us, if you understand it, they're trying to codify some racist crap into law. Listen. All right. As I was talking, I was going to try to find a video, but I'm done. Everybody have a wonderful weekend. This is the last weekend before we get ready for the holiday next week. The holidays are coming. Just want to also name, as the holidays are coming, 988 is a number if you're feeling some sort of way, just with a lot that comes with the holidays. Some of us are experiencing some family members who aren't here for the first time. Some of us are experiencing some financial issues. And so just want to share that resource with you. That's it for me today. Sister Debbie, love you too. Niecy Williams, Mayor said it ain't happening. They can talk about her, but they're not messing with her people in Boston. Listen, I will see you guys on Monday morning. You'll see I'm still looking right. On Monday morning at 10 a.m. And I'm not really sure who our guest will be yet. It might just be me. Hopefully we'll get an answer today for the person that I want to come on and chat with us. This is, now personal challenge, and I'm going to find this during video. I can tell y'all, as soon as I hit end stream, it's going to pop up. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. We'll see you on Monday at 10 a.m. Thank you for being with us today.